As a new teacher of mixed classes, what I think is important for you to know about the heritage language learners, based on my research on the writings of Maria Carrera, is that they need what all students need: you to get to know them, to capitalize on their strengths, and then otherwise differentiate your instruction to meet their needs. However, their objectives are going to differ uniquely from the way that L2s differ from one another. Due to generational status in the United States, amount and type of exposure to Spanish, the age of the onset of bilingualism, and cultural connectedness. Another way that the heritage language learners are unique is that they are learning a second variant of their L1 rather than learning an L2. So, this is mediated by language distance, which is a principle that holds that when two systems are very similar, it's more difficult to keep them apart, and the tendency is to merge them. And so their difficulties will be different than L2 learners. What they need in one of their learning objectives will be to validate their own dialect, which starts with you validating it, and also to notice the relevant differences between theirs and the target dialect. Another factor making it even more critical for you to get to know them is that a defining characteristic is that they have a personal stake in their study of their heritage language and heritage culture by virtue of their identity needs. So their objectives need to address students' identity needs and tap into their cultural and linguistic expertise. L2s don't have this identity need connected to the L2. And finally, due to the Latino achievement gap, I will be talking primarily about Spanish American HLLs, Hispanic American HLLs in this video. Due to the Latino achievement gap, SL teachers are uniquely positioned to bring about school conditions that are conducive to the success of Latino students. So it's that much more important for us to encourage an institutional appreciation and understanding of culture, and to provide provide training for critical academics tools such as research skills, learning strategies, and reading and writing abilities that they may lack due to that achievement gap. Unfortunately, the existing standards and curriculum do not address these unique needs and objectives. HLLs, all HLLs, need more than just academic vocabulary, meaning form connection, orthography, accentuation, and formal grammar training and lessons to fill in their gaps. The National Foreign Language Standards have gaps that could arguably be filled by borrowing from the National English Standards, such as the need to deal with the impact of poverty, ethnic and cultural discrimination, family illiteracy, and socio-political disenfranchisement. That's a lot for us to do. How do we motivate our students, and which activities are beneficial? How do we do these things? First, as mentioned, validate and value their experience and their dialect, not positioning the standard version of Spanish as superior, while still recognizing that since many cite career goals as their reason for studying Spanish, that learning academic Spanish too is beneficial amongst the reasons for learning it for their identity needs and connection to their culture. So, as far as activities go, a macro-based approach with authentic materials and tasks at center stage with the focus on form and a supporting role is very important. Activities that explore the U.S. Latino experience, including issues such as language shift, linguistic prejudice, acculturation, and assimilation, will benefit both HLLs and L2 learners. Studying dialects and raising awareness of power and social inclusion benefit both. Linguistic autobiographies and ethnographic interviews are a way to explore all of this. And questions and prompts designed with perspectives of all types of students in mind will also encourage inclusion and that identity development, as well as building on each other's strengths. Really, it all boils down to differentiated instruction. There's a ton of different ways to do this: portfolios, journals, independent studies, agendas, centers, exit cards. All of these are beneficial for all. I think the most important way, though, is flexible group work, which can address the needs of both type of learners while leveraging their complementary strengths. And one way to make these flexible groups is to first have them do a KWL chart and figure out what one group, and compare the HLLs KWL chart to the L2 KWL chart and match them up that way. And then they can teach one another what's in their L category if someone else wrote that in their K category, or I'm sorry, their W and their K. Either way. Another example of this is to put them in a flexible group with HLs and L2s and have it be an oral activity followed by collaborative writing. The oral activity will highlight the strengths of the HLLs, and the collaborative writing will highlight the strengths of the L2s. The final thing is to resist the temptation to place HLLs in lower or intermediate level classes, because this can actually hurt them and exacerbate their linguistic insecurities. So if that happens, let someone know, because it's better for them to be in a well-differentiated upper level class. Key is differentiation. Thank you.